Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. Link in the description below, and also at the top of the chat. You can't miss it. You can find out a lot more information about Elevating Traders. You can find frequent updates there. You can chat with other traders, including myself there as well. I share ideas there. So if you're looking to follow along, see some setups, discuss different opportunities, you can do all of that and more in the Discord channel. So go check it out. Link in the description to that. But guys, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Dark Sean, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Quite interesting, GJ. Okay, nice. Yeah, I will go through pound yen for you. No problem. We'll take a look at GJ. We'll go through a lot of the yen pairs, especially Aussie and New Zealand yen. They look particularly bearish right now. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good to have you on the stream, my man. Hope you're well. Ahmed, as always, good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. So as always, we'll go through DXY, USD side of things first. Take a look at some USD majors, gold and silver. And then we'll go through some requests, see what you guys are looking at, what you guys are looking to trade. I'll go through my watch list as well, share what I'm looking at, what I'm trading as well. But first things first, we have the dollar, which was pretty bullish since we last spoke. I believe we were trading in the consolidation yesterday on stream, and it looked pretty stale. Like things are kind of stagnated a little bit. And we were expecting to see at least a retracement because we've had a really nice bearish move over the past few days. However, all that momentum kind of disappeared. So we've been looking for a bit of a pullback. I'm still pretty bearish on the dollar. Again, my main kind of thinking with the USD is that we're still forming these major lower highs. So my expectation is that we're going to form another one of them and get another drop to the downside. So I'm looking for some USD strength for a pullback, for some weakness to follow afterwards. So it's been very, very important to see what we do in and around this area here, 108, 108.5. I'm looking at this area here for that next lower high to form. And then things look good, looking for some shorts there on the dollar, some longs on Euro USD, longs and pound. We'll get through those pairs in the moment. But that's still very much the setup I'm looking at for the dollar right now. Possibly intraday, there probably might be some pullbacks to ride some momentum to the upside there. So maybe some shorts and euro, shorts and pound could look good on the lower time frames. But for myself, I'm still very much focused on the shorts. And as I said, that 108, 108.5 area is kind of where I'm looking to anticipate another lower high forming, just like we did over there. And just like we did in the previous one as well. So that's still my thinking. And of course, in terms of targets, back to the prior low. Nothing too crazy, and maybe if we're very bearish, possibly a push back into this support level. So just above 105.5. So that's my expectation with the dollar. Still very bearish. However, I do expect to see a bit more strength. Dropping to Euro USD, of course, we're taking that information into Euro. I'm looking for something very, very similar, but the opposite. Again, Euro was stuck at resistance for a while. Again, this one came pretty congested as well. Very sluggish, very corrective. So again, expecting Euro to have a bit of a pullback, and we've seen that move. Although I'm looking for a little bit more downside before I do start engaging in any longs. I'm looking more so around this area, which is just above 1.03 for longs in Euro USD. Ooh, that rhymes. A bit more downside before I do look for longs, and of course targets back to resistance, back to where we came from, and possibly we might see price break a little bit further and come and test 1.06, which is just above where current price is. But again, with Euro, since we've had such strong resistance over here, I want to be buying away from that level, closer to support. And that's exactly where I'm focused right now. So if Euro can head to the downside a little bit further, this could be a setup maybe for some time next week. And if we can see some characteristics of a higher low forming, are we looking for some entries and a push back to where we came from? Nothing complicated. So that's still very much the plan with Euro, still looking at this kind of bowl shape pattern, looking for buys at the low there. Pound USD, I still really like this one. Again, Pound USD has seen some downside, not much as Euro, but we have had some relief. Price broke out of this kind of corrective channel as well. A lot of the USD pairs were kind of giving us a bit of a corrective channel the past couple of days, and since the DXY broke out, so have the other USD pairs as well. But again, my thought process with pound USD is, again, still looking for that next higher low. We've got a lovely trend line followed by a lovely level of price support, prior resistance, and now looking for that to hold a support again. As we can see, price respecting very well over there as well. So I'm looking to see if we can head to the downside a little bit further, and then again looking for some longs to take it back into resistance, which of course is the swing high here around 1.27. And if everything goes very well, we might even see a push to 1.28 just above us. But pound USD, this is really the area of confidence I'm interested in. Again, successive higher lows the past few days, so looking to basically continue that. And again, still looking to attack to the upside. I'm not really interested in following that bearish trend anymore. We've broken out that counter trend line, not really seeing much momentum in the market anymore. I'm more focused on following this uptrend and likewise following the DXY to the downside. So that's still very much my thought process there with pound. Dollar CAD, I still like this one to the downside as well. Very, very bullish dollar CAD yesterday. CAD was pretty weak as well. And of course, following the breakout of the DXY, USD was pretty strong too. So that was a recipe for a lot of upside here for dollar CAD. However, my bias, my analysis hasn't really changed. I said there's a couple of areas I was looking at. This area here, if that level didn't hold, I'll look at this area here, which price is just not quite at yet. So with dollar CAD, I'm still looking at the shorts. I was looking at this area here initially, didn't quite see the confirmations I was looking for, had a very steep retracement. So I wanted to see a lot more evidence of price holding that resistance before shorting. Didn't quite see that. And of course, we got the break there yesterday. So now that area's been put to bed. So I'm looking to see what we can do around the 1.45 area. Again, if things look good there, I will look to take my shorts and look to see if I can target the lows. Again, with USD CAD, the retracement is still very, very aggressive as well. So I have to be careful waiting for development before jumping into anything. But the plan is still very much looking for another lower high to form. That's our manipulation to the upside. Very strong move back down, breaking through structure. Now looking at a lower high to take some shorts. Of course, a push back to the low would be the target. So very bearish in dollar CAD and similar expectation. But again, being careful. The market is still overall bullish. I am expecting this to be a bit of a partial top for the market. But I have to be careful because potentially the trend might continue and hence we might be seeing a pushback to the highs there. But for now, this is still an area which I'm really interested in. So we'll keep an eye out. We're not there yet, so not really much to report. But when we get there, hopefully sometime next week, and start to discuss some short opportunities. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one was very, very bearish yesterday. New Zealand dollar as well, which we'll get to in a second. Looks like Aussie and New Zealand dollar, the currencies themselves were very, very bearish. Of course, combined with the USD bullishness as well, we got some really strong moves to the downside for both of those currency pairs. So Aussie dollar, again, I'm still bullish. However, I'm backing off because we have completely broken through this consolidation. I don't really have another strong area which I'll be willing to buy from. So I would hold back from longing. Yesterday, I was talking about the retest of the high of the range here. I said we've got this counter trend line. If price could give us a very strong close above this, that would be a nice entry signal because at that point, price is respecting the range. And number two, giving us a very strong shift in momentum to the upside, breaking through the counter trend line. That would be a nice candle to get involved, find entries, and possibly take it back to the high. So that would be a nice entry signal. However, of course, we didn't get that. Market broke to the downside, and we just kept falling for pretty much the rest of the day. And so far this morning as well, prices kept falling too. So since we've broken through that consolidation, again, just because we break through that doesn't mean that price can't form a higher low and push up. But it does lower the probability, especially for me finding a good trade that at least fits my plan anyway. So with Aussie dollar, I'm backing away. Perhaps maybe some development over the next few days. There might be a nice setup that does present itself. But right now, since my confidence has been lost, if I'm looking to jump into trades now, it's more to do with fear of missing out or just greed, I suppose, rather than actually taking a good quality setup. So I'll back away from Aussie dollar since this is broken and just going to wait to see how we develop. Possibly maybe price wants to be bearish again. It's a very strong close on the daily chart. Perhaps price wants to come back and test support. That could be the case as well. So definitely staying open to both sides of the coin. but no opportunities just yet for New Zealand dollar. Likewise with Aussie dollar, likewise with New Zealand dollar, really strong move to the downside. This one hasn't quite broke through the lows here yet, but it looks like we're on our way to do that. Again, similar to the daily chart, with all that momentum, have to be careful that price isn't trying to make a move back to the low there, which could be the case as well. We have broken through the trend line, which we did a couple of days ago, actually. Or was it yesterday? Wednesday, yeah, a couple of days ago. And we broke through this area here as well. So after we broke through that confluence, I did sales back and away from New Zealand dollar because, again, the confluence is lost. So it's not that price can break through and then possibly continue, but that's just not my trade. If price was going to react to that, great. I'll be looking for entries. But similar to Aussie dollar, we kind of stayed within that counter trend line and kept falling. So no entries there for New Zealand dollar as well. Price is looking exceptionally bearish for that momentum over the past few hours. Possibly could be meaning a pushback to the low there. So yeah, being very careful, be very cautious with looking to long New Zealand dollar and Aussie. I think those currencies are very, very weak at the moment. So particularly being careful. But dollar CAD still looks like a good short. Pound USD still looks like a good long. Same with euro. But keeping a close eye on the dollar, making sure I'm not jumping into anything that's not quite there yet. And in terms of gold and silver, I'm pretty sure these guys are being a bit bearish as well. Gold's breaking to the downside, not really lighting up the market in terms of momentum. We're kind of just sluggishly falling to the downside here. Looks like we're just about trying to break support. So nothing kind of really exceptional from gold. If we had like a big drop like we had at the start of the week with that move there, if that, let's say, continued and we saw another big move to the downside, kind of like what we've got in Bitcoin right now, that could be a nice short looking to follow that to the downside because we've broken out this range finally. And at that point, I'll be expecting expecting gold to retrace. We've got this price swing high here at 27.91. And that could be a nice place which attracts gold for a pullback. And perhaps we might go bullish from there on afterwards. But for now, gold looks like it's trying to poke itself to the downside. I just want to see a bit more momentum from gold before I look to try and follow the move. But again, gold's been exceptionally bullish over the past few weeks now. This possibly might be a bit of a top in terms of where we might retrace from before continuing. So if we can keep up that momentum, then yeah, I think shorts will look pretty good there for gold actually. And in terms of silver, a similar situation as well in terms of, okay, the market is definitely not breaking through resistance. So I've been looking at this level here for silver, really nice level resistance. Again, looking for price to break through this level to get a swing back to the high here at 34.8. But unfortunately, just haven't seen that break, or at least it hinted towards a break, but we came straight back underneath. And since we're closing below there quite firmly on the daily chart, again, as a wannabe buyer of silver, a bullish, I'm looking to buy silver. The fact that price is failing at resistance is, of course, not a strong sign for a buyer. If anything, that's what you want to see as a seller. Failing to break through resistance, this probably means more downside to come. So with silver breaking back underneath that level, looks like we're breaking through a nice counter trend line as well. Perhaps if we could see a more confident break of this area, that could actually give some nice entries to take lower. We've got a nice support level there. That could be a nice target on the 4-hour chart. So I'm actually seeing more selling opportunities here for silver and gold. They're both kind of on the cusp of breaking out. Silver looks like it's just about to break through this trend line support level, and gold looks like it's just about to break out that support level there as well. So if you can see a bit more confident breaks for both of them, I'll say shorts for the next few days could look pretty good. So yeah, being bullish on them for a while, but no kind of opportunity at the moment. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. I'll go through GJ now, see what Darkshon is looking at in pound gem. Philip, what is up? Good morning. Hope you're well. Fantastic trading month. Good to hear, my man. Good to hear. Still hold the sell in euro and GU, and I'm buying CAD CHF. Watch your bias. Okay. I don't know if you caught the analysis for them, but I will run through them quickly. Shashi, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good day, good day. What's up, Rex? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. William, what is up? Welcome, welcome. Yusuf, good morning. I am doing good. Hope you're well. Can we take a look at gold respecting the downtrend line on the 15-minute? Okay, I'll have a look at the 15-minute as well. Yes, Amrit, we went through gold. Hopefully you caught that. Good morning, Ben. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yes, we'll take a look at Bitcoin and ETH. A lot happening in that side of the markets. Very bearish momentum there. It's not looking good. I appreciate that, Will. Yeah, Chris, we'll go for Yen as well. What's up, Nenad? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. So let me quickly take a look at pound yen. Darkshon said he's in a position. Okay, yeah, a bit awkward from pound yen. We did have a nice sell yesterday. I remember Darkshon, you were shorting the pair from up here. Really nice move to the downside and actually ripped all the way through the lows. I was a bit skeptical of that. I said targets down here look good, but I would be a little bit hesitant about targeting the lows here because potentially this could send us to the upside, but price did break through pretty well. And since then, we've had a really big push to the upside again, and it looks like we're kind of just continuing the range, really. It's just a bit more awkward right now. And Darktron, you said you're short or long? Okay, took a sell, floating 50 pips in profit. So I'd imagine prices come back into resistance again, and you look to catch a sell from the highs here. Yeah, I like the entry, to be honest. I don't know your entry, but I assume your entry is probably in relation to that high there, around 189.7. So I like that place for an entry. I assume targets for you, not too sure maybe. I'm not too sure if you look for the full move. That's 200 pips. I'll probably say you probably might be looking around 100 pip area, maybe around that support area there, maybe here. That might be where your target is. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, 5-minute chart, we are consolidating. So if you're going to look to try and trade this, you want to be respecting what the market is doing, which is selling high and buying low. I know we did have this move to the downside, which did break out, but we came straight back in. So there's a bit of red flag there. The market tried to bleed, but failed to do so. So I would be looking at shorts, taking it at least back to these areas and calling it a day there, maybe leaving a small position to run if I really wanted to. But I'll be very careful of 188.9, 188.6, perhaps price respect support and turns against me. So I like the entry up at the high there. Price is rebounding through this area numerous occasions. So resistance is holding very, very well. But I would be very, very careful around those lows there in terms of taking partials or just closing the trade completely. But really nice reaction this morning, and things are looking pretty bearish there. So yeah, nice position, kind of keeping up with the range there pretty well. But yeah, on the 4-hour chart, price action looks horrendous. But 5-minute chart, I mean, doesn't look particularly great either, but it's ranging pretty nicely. Okay, so I'll go through CAD CHF for Philip, and then I'll go through gold on the 15 as well. We'll take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. So CAD CHF, haven't really looked at this one much since the stream yesterday. Not really focusing too much right now. But yesterday I was talking about the big range that we had, which is basically equal lows down here and more or less equal highs up there. Maybe not the cleanest range you'll ever see, but definitely support resistance. We're trapped in between. So I said yesterday for CAD CHF, I do like the buys, but I would wait for price to head back to support around the 0.619 area, because of course that's clearly where price has respected on numerous occasions. So I would wait for price to get there before bouncing. Right now, we're kind of just hovering above that area. So I would wait for price to spill over a little bit further. Of course, it may or may not do that. Possibly, maybe price is forming a higher low to push on. But in terms of just having a safe stop loss, I'd rather get my stop loss below the lows here rather than here, because I'm a bit more vulnerable. Might take an unnecessary loss just for price to move my direction. So with CAD CHF, it's very much a textbook range. buy low, sell high is very much the game plan here, and I would wait for price to come a little bit lower before entertaining buys. But it's in a nice place where we could turn around, and if it does so, you got a pretty nice risk to reward back to the high around 0.637. So if you can catch some buys off the low there, you're looking pretty good there. But yeah, CAD-CHF is just a ranging market, no more, no less. Not really conditions which I look to trade. But if I was to do so, I'll be making sure I can enter as low as possible because that'll give me the safest stop loss. But yeah, that's kind of my take on CAD-CHF. That is my take on CAD-CHF. In terms of gold on the 15, you mentioned a bearish trend line. Let's have a look. See, let me get rid of that. So, okay. Let me see the message. Take a look at respecting the downtrend line in the 15 and potential bearish continuation at 2870. Whereabouts is that? 2870. Okay, that's around there-ish. Okay, so the retest of this area. So I assume you're probably looking at this trend line here. If I'm looking at the wrong thing, or you're looking at a different trend line, let me know. But I suppose you're probably looking at a setup looking similar to this. Yeah, I do like that, to be honest. I do like that with gold, especially just keeping it short and sweet back into the prior low, which would be 2851. I think that makes a lot of sense. We could go further, but I would take the bulk of my profit at that low, just in case we do bounce and turn around, because the market has been falling for quite a while on the 15, so we might be becoming a little bit fatigued right now. This trend line does look nice, but overall the market structure is very corrective. So I wouldn't be surprised if gold does go through a bit of a pullback here at some point in time, maybe closer to the New York session. But a retest of that level, especially if you can see some nice rejection, wicks, bearish engulfing candles, I think that'll be a nice place for an entry. You can put your stop loss just above that area and targets there, and you could be catching a nice intraday trade there. So I do like the opportunity there for gold. Successive lower highs, the trend line's held very well, once, twice, third time, fourth, fifth. So we've seen this trend line respect on multiple occasions, meaning it is something price is paying attention to. But because we've had already a pretty big move and the market is now being corrective, this is not necessarily price action that would say that would signal to me that the trend is healthy and that I'm expecting a lot more downside. This is something that's saying, okay, we're a bit more tightly knit now, a bit more corrective. That means we're coming to our last leg. So short-term sell opportunities do look good. Of course, anything could happen. Maybe we do have a big sell, but I think I'll keep it relatively safe. Targets back at the low. You can always leave some small percentage to run if you want to. But yeah, I do like the idea there of gold on the 15. I do like the idea, but I'll just keep it short and sweet. Okay, so let's go and take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin bullish, I guess. Is Bitcoin bullish? Let's go take a look. Oh, it doesn't look bullish to me, unless you're talking about the general consensus of Bitcoin, the general trend. And yeah, it is still very bullish, 100%. If you're talking about right now, as in the past 24 hours, 48 hours, it is definitely not looking bullish at all. This is falling out the sky right now. So yeah, it's not looking too hot for Bitcoin. Ethereum's not looking good either. I'll get to that in a second. But again, I'm not too shocked about this because, again, when we're in a range, which we were in here, it's kind of 50-50 which way we break, up or down. And because Bitcoin has been so bullish, even us breaking to the downside aggressively as we're doing now isn't really such a red flag. We've got really strong areas of support below us where I would expect price to bounce from and continue its bullish journey. So this to me is just kind of an opportunity for retracement before price resumes its journey. So yeah, at the moment it's looking really bearish and it's a bit scary maybe. Certainly if you've got some positions up here, that would not be nice at all. But I think it's just a healthy part of Bitcoin's journey. Bitcoin needs to correct itself. Possibly the 100K mark would have sucked in a lot of buyers up here, and maybe that will flush them out for us to keep going again. So I think it's just a healthy part of Bitcoin's journey. It needs to correct itself. I think on the lower time frames, there might be some nice short opportunities as well to continue that momentum to the downside. But as soon as we get to around 73, 72K, we're now back in bullish territory, and I'll be looking for price to turn around and see some upside. So yeah, looking very, very bearish right now. Ugly times, but I do think opportunities are coming shortly. I do think we've got more downside to experience here because we had a pretty clean move to the upside, not a lot of support resistance to the left there. There's a lot of support below us here around 73, 72K. You might even pull a little bit deeper, but from that area is where I kind of expect us to bounce. So yeah, a lot of momentum, 100%. Not looking too hot right now, but not panic stations yet for myself. I think we're just having a yeah, healthy correction. Yeah, exactly. I would agree as well. Patricia, yes, we'll take a look at dollar CAD for you. No problem. Mania Sculpt with about 50 pips or so. Okay, nothing crazy. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I think just keep it short and sweet with that opportunity because it's not necessarily a free flowing bearish trend there anymore. It's a bit more kind of tired. So I think a nice short term trade, 50 pips, sounds about right to me. Monthly close today. Oh yes, we got the monthly close as well. Just reminded me. I'm going to have a look at some of the monthly candles across the boards. But yeah, monthly candle close, not looking too hot either there for Bitcoin. The last time we had a close this aggressive on Bitcoin was back over here. Funnily enough, the market actually pushed to the upside shortly afterwards. But then again, not too long after, we did have a really big correction there. How big was that correction? That was a 77% correction, which is huge. To put that in context, if we were to do a 77% correction from the high, that would take us all the way back to here-ish, which is around 23K. So imagine Bitcoin going from 108K all the way back to 23K. That would be insane. Yeah, people would be screaming at that point. But hey, I would say that's great value, and that would be a really nice buy. But yeah, that's insane. That's insane. A 77% correction. If we were to see something like that again, that would take us to 23K. Even a 50% correction, which is not crazy for Bitcoin. We do have these big corrections for of course 50K would take us to around 50K. But that's still a meaningful correction, and we've kind of done about 60% of that so far. Yeah, 50%. We've done 27%. So yeah, it's not looking great for Bitcoin. But again, I think it's just we're in that bearish phase now. It's time to kind of hold back on the buys for Bitcoin because we're definitely in bearish mode here. But sooner or later, expecting price to snap bullish again, and we'll keep pushing. Yeah, yeah, very true. One of the worst weekly candles on Bitcoin as well. Yeah, 100%. Huge candle. Haven't seen anything that big since kind of over here, really, back in 2021. Yep, indices getting hammered as well. Yeah, indices getting hammered. It's not been a good day or good week, I should say. Well, good day too. Regina, good morning. Hope you're well. Imagine the amount of people who've been trying to long and bounce and over this. Yeah, of course, there'll be many people looking to buy. But again, as long as you manage your risk, there's nothing harm. There's no harm in that. You know, trying to anticipate a bounce at support. Price didn't hold support. As long as you didn't bet the farm in the trade, you know, and put your whole account to risk, yeah, you live again to fight another day. But yeah, not looking too good. Ethereum as well. Ethereum, I don't like at all, really. Bitcoin still giving me the healthy trend characteristic because we've been trending for a while, all-time highs recently. Ethereum, we failed at the highs there, which was a little bit disappointing. And now it looks like price is breaking through a long-standing trend line as well. Again, looks like it is. It hasn't broken yet, but it looks like it is. And if you break through this, that does ruin a lot of my expectation for for Ethereum. Because if we do break through that, then I wouldn't be totally surprised if we make a move back down to here, which is crazy because that was the move we had back in what, late 2021 or 2022? No, 2022, which is the move we had for Bitcoin, which is this move here. And Bitcoin is nowhere near that point. Whereas Ethereum, if it breaks that trend line as well as that support, I kind of expect us to probably make a move there, to be honest. Again, it's a nice support level. That would be a nice place to pick up some more Ethereum if you're a willing buyer. And your value for money, that's 1K. If we get back to all-time highs, more or less 5K, so 5x there. So there is opportunity, but yeah, in the meantime, not looking too good for Ethereum, I must admit. We'll see how this weekly, monthly candle closes. But if you do get a break, which looks like price is hinting at that, yeah, Ethereum's probably going to see a lot more downside as well. So it's not the season for crypto right now. It is not the season at all. And we'll go through some indices as well. What's up, Tony Gold? Hope you're well. Hope you are well. Welcome to the stream. I will go through dollar CAD, Patricia, by the way. And Chris, I will take a look at Euro Yen. Just getting a bit sidetracked here with some crypto, but I will go through those pairs for you. Yeah, true. Well, yeah, you would have seen a bounce by now, but of course, prices absolutely melted through that level. Solana wrecked beyond belief. Okay, what's Solana doing these days? Oof. Yeah, I mean, of course, all of I would imagine all the cryptocurrencies will be hit big time. But yeah, Solana's not looking good either. How big of a correction is that? Yeah, 50%. Damn. Again, and that's the reality with cryptocurrencies, is that you're going to get these hefty corrections. Again, even looking at that, to be honest, this was a 96% correction. That is insane. Imagine the S&P doing something like that. And again, that's the reality. With great rewards, you need great risk. If you're going to make 10x, 100x in a short space of time, you're going to have to be willing to take the opposite of that as well. And that's the reality. Even with Bitcoin as well, Bitcoin have a 77% correction. You're not going to see the S&P go 70% down. Well, if it does that, then something's gone very wrong. But yeah, huge dip there, and I'll imagine we'll probably see this across the board. Anyway, let's go take a look at Euro Yen, then I'll go through dollar CAD as well. Probably go through a lot more of the yen pairs. What's up, CS Integrated? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, with Euro Yen, we're at really strong support. I'm expecting price to eventually break through this. However, yeah, I'm expecting price to break through, but I won't find a trade until we do, really. Unless we pull back up again and we form another major lower high, that would be great. Similar to what we did over here and over here. I'll be looking at another one forming so I can short it back down to the level, profit from that move, and then perhaps maybe look for the retest afterwards and profit from that move as well. So these are the two opportunities I'm looking at. Either price pulls away from the support, I catch another lower high like we did over there, and I catch another one back into support, or price breaks through and we catch a possible retest. But right now, price is at support, very strong support on the daily chart. To me, it looks like a big head and shoulder pattern, and I'm expecting a lot more downside for Euro Yen in the next coming days, coming weeks. So I'm very bearish in the market. So I'm not really interested in buys at all. I know at support there might be some short-term buys there, but I'm not interested. The bigger move looks likely to be to the downside, so I want to be focused on that primarily. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting for that to happen. Dropping to the 4-hour chart, things have been very corrective for the past few days anyway. We did have an attempt to sell off, but looks like it hasn't amounted to much. We'll see if that will continue for the rest of the day, or maybe price will turn around. But at the moment, as I said, looking for that bigger pullback. Let's see if that does happen, or we get the break and retest. So there's not a lot for me to do right now with euro yen. I'm not really interested with the intraday price action either. In terms of dollar CAD, as I mentioned with this one, still looking at some shorts. I'm looking around 1.45 for some shorts. This one is still on the watch list. It looks really good. It has retraced pretty heavily though, so I'm being a bit careful. I did say yesterday that my first area of interest was this level here, but I did stay out of the market because the retracement was aggressive as well. So I wanted to see a bit more development in terms of the shorts. And what I mean by that is wicks, bearish engulfing candles, which we didn't really see that well. I mean, we did have a bearish engulfing candle there, but it wasn't really of big significance. The wicks weren't of big significance either. And when we trace aggressively, I want price to reject aggressively. If the correction is a lot slower, then that gives me a lot more confidence that, okay, we probably will sell off. But if we shoot to the upside, then I need to see some aggressive reactions, rejections for me to be willing to short that. And that's kind of the situation we was in there for dollar CAD and still in, really. There we go. And still in, really, because the market is still pretty impulsive. So I need price slowing down, rejecting the high well. And I'll be looking at some shorts, but again, targets, looking for us to come back into the low. If this is going to be a bit of a top for USD CAD, then I'm looking at this being a lower high. And of course, if that's going to be a lower high, you expect us to come back to test support. So that's the swing, that's the direction I'm looking for dollar CAD. So keeping a close eye, but I don't think this will set up until next week sometime. So waiting for that. Okay, so I will go through. Okay, so thoughts on pound CAD, I will take a look for you. Cease integrated, I agree with your insights today, end of the month. Yeah, I will go through some of the monthly candle closures, see how we're looking. DXY opinion will be bullish to that level, 108.471, then bearish next week, short-term bullish and long-term bearish due to current gold and market. Yeah, I have a very similar outlook on that as well. Looking for a bit more upside for the dollar. That may last maybe 2-3 days, maybe into next week, but I'm still looking at that bigger sell for the DXY. Hey, appreciate that, Ahmed. Don't forget to like and sub the stream. See you on Monday. Appreciate it, my man. Take care. Have a good weekend as well. If you guys are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out, and I do really appreciate all the kind messages you guys do leave on the stream. It does really make sure that that the streams are useful. So I appreciate that, guys. Anyway, let's take a look at GB CAD, and then I'll go through the remainder of the yen pairs. So yeah, pound CAD's been very bullish as well. This one's been flying. Of course, CAD's been pretty weak. I think pound might have been a little bit strong as well. But yeah, pound CAD looks like it's hinting at possibly a break of resistance here. Again, nothing concrete. You can see last time we had a close above the level was very half-hearted. Half-hearted, is that a correct term? Half-hearted, yeah, I think so. My mind just went blank for a second. So not very confident, didn't see a lot of momentum, provided a few wicks, and we came straight back down. That's kind of what we've got here again. That could change. Maybe the next candle, maybe today's candle is going to give us a strong push. That would be nice because then the breakout is clear for all to see. Then pullbacks and continuations look really good because, again, the trend is still very much up. The trend is still very much up. So if price is going to break to the upside, that will be a strong sign that says, okay, buyers in control, trend's still alive and kick in. We broke through a very, very big level. You know, this is a level that has held price for a while. So a strong break of that is a big significant is of big significance. And if we can stay above that, that would be a nice opportunity to take pound CAD to the upside. Of course, on the other side of the coin, if price does break back underneath the level, then we're back at square one, still rejecting resistance, and pretty much still got a ranging market here, equal lows, equal highs. Possibly might see another push back into support there. So yeah, pound CAD, I'm looking to see if we can get the breakout. It looks like we are, but not quite cemented yet. I want to see a bit more momentum before I do talk about some pullbacks there. But it looks like we're onto something. So keeping a close eye. In terms of the other yen pairs, so I quite like Aussie yen and New Zealand yen right now because of how bearish they've been. So we have seen some nice momentum with these ones, particularly New Zealand yen, which we'll take a look at in a second. Aussie yen, I'm looking for us to push back into the low here, which is at 90.146. We've picked up the pace a lot with Aussie weakness, and the probability of price now getting back to the low here, which is what we've been discussing for a while, is pretty high. So I'm looking at a lot more downside now for Aussie yen. Take out the low. In all honesty, I expect us to go a lot further than this low. That's just a big point of call. I'm looking for price to come into these areas and a lot further as well. But for now, that's our next big target to pinpoint. So in terms of opportunities now for Aussie yen, if I drop to the 4-hour chart, I'm now looking for a pullback. We've had a really nice bearish leg. So I'm looking to see if we can get the correction of that. Something like this would be nice, perhaps retesting some price support as well. That's kind of the area I'm looking to get involved with Aussie yen and take this at least back into the prior low, which would be wherever we pull back from. But more so looking to hold some positions back to the daily swing low at 90. So very bearish in Aussie yen. I like the structure. We picked up the pace a little bit as well. We have Aussie to thank for that. And I do expect to see a lot more downside with this currency pair. A lot more downside. I'm pretty bearish across the board for the yen pairs. But Aussie yen looks like it's starting to really see some momentum. Haven't been a big fan of this currency pair, but now we're picking up the pace. You can see it's been very choppy. Not too long ago, but since then we've got a nice break and looks like we can see a nice continuation, maybe in a retest of this low. That would be a nice place for a short as well. But we got to wait for the pullback. Otherwise, there is no opportunity. We might just slowly roll over, which would be a bit boring. But if you can get a pullback, great. Looking for shorts and looking to take that lower. New Zealand yen, same kind of boat as well. Really nice drop to the downside. So again, a lot of momentum. This one's not too far from the wick low, I believe, yet. The wick low is just over there, so we're in touching distance now. Again, likewise, I expect us to go a lot further. There's some major support to our left over there. I'm expecting price to get to as well. This is just the next big point, so that's why I've been talking about that a lot. But I do expect to see more downside. We've broken through some major support here now as well, and we've really picked up the pace as well with that sell. So again, similar to Aussie yen, looking for another correction for some more shorts and a continuation to the downside. We've got this lovely trend line here. It'll be great to see if we can get a retest of that area, retest some broken support, ton resistance, and finish the job off there. So Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, I haven't been a big fan. Again, you can see them being very, very choppy there, but now we've picked up the pace. So something like this looks really good to take it back into the lows. And yeah, a lot, and these two pairs, Aussie and New Zealand yen, along with dollar yen, kind of look the best right now in terms of momentum, in terms of the setup as well. So I'm keeping a firm eye on all those three. If I go take a look at dollar yen as well. Dollar yen, I like it too. Picked up the pace the past couple of weeks. Lovely move there as well. We've just about pinched the low here, but we haven't got a successful kind of closure yet. So it would be better if we had a closure below. Wicks below a structural point can be viewed as a breakout, a break of structure, but I like to see candle closures because that has a bit more meaning to it. So yeah, I would wait for some candle closures below before really classifying a break of structure. But again, we do have some nice lower highs here on the left, which I'll be looking for another lower high to form. And this is kind of the area I'm looking at, which is that consolidation coming back to retest there around 152. So dollar yen looks pretty good to me. Really consistent bearish structure. The probability of price suddenly bouncing and pushing to the upside is quite slim now. And looking at the higher time frames on the daily chart, I do kind of expect us to see a push back into the low here at 140.832 in the next few weeks there. I was going to say few days, but I think that will take a bit longer. So dollar yen looks really good. New Zealand yen looks really good. Aussie looks really good for the same reasons, which is momentum's looking good. We're picking up the pace a little bit. So yeah, looking for a pullback into 152. I'm going to see how we react there. Hoping that the lower high forms, we can catch that, shorter back into the low and hold some positions to run. It's a pretty big drop I'm looking at. What's the measure that you're looking at? About 1,000 pips there to the downside. So there's a lot of opportunity there for dollar yen. In terms of the other yen pairs, they looked okay. So euro yen we spoke about, that's at support right now. So I need that to break support for me to be getting excited about trading opportunity, especially on the 4-hour chart. GJ as well, we can kind of see still kind of respecting support to a degree. Again, this one I'm still very bearish, looking for us to take out that wick low there as well. We've got some more support to our left. I expect us to come back to these areas here as well. So I'm expecting a really big move here for the yen pairs. So that's why I'm not too fast. I'm not trying to rush into anything because there's a long way to go if my targets are met with these yen pairs. So my plan is just to try and find a good trade within that move, not try and necessarily call the top or catch it all the way to the bottom. If I can take a decent chunk somewhere off the back of a good opportunity, then that's my job there. With pound yen right now, again testing support, so nothing really for me to do until we start to break through that, and then I can start to talk about some pullbacks afterwards. And right now, in all fairness, GJ is looking very corrective as well, so not really showing signs that we're about to break support right now as well. If we had some more momentum, that would be great, but unfortunately, we're lacking that a lot. So maybe somewhere, maybe news, next week or NFP, maybe price might be waiting for something like that. I don't know. But I'm looking for a break of structure before I can start to look to short this one. At the moment, still looking very corrective. In terms of CAD JPY, this one has seen some nice downside. It's picked up the pace a little bit. Again, this one I'm expecting us to take out the low there as well. If CAD Yen can have a pretty big pullback, I would be a bit more interested in this one. Momentum has been okay. We picked up the pace a little bit, as we can see there. Nice bearish leg. So again, looking for the correction of that and the next lower high. That would be very nice if something like that could form. Possibly maybe the retest of this low. Again, does really depend. Might not quite line up, but we'll have to wait and see. And looking for opportunity to take it back, at least back into the low there, but more so back into the daily low there too, which again, I expect a lot more downside afterwards as well. But the key thing to note for CAD Yen is, again, we've been very consistent with these lower highs. So again, looking for the next one for the next drop and targeting those daily lows there as well. And lastly, you've got CHF JPY. We'll take a look at the yen basket too whilst we're at it. CHF JPY just really struggling at support right now. Again, I'm expecting this to break to the downside. So yeah, I know which direction I'm looking to trade in. Again, higher time frames, really big head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder. You've got your lovely neckline in there and going across the market. And again, I'm expecting this to break to the downside and have a really big move as well, possibly back to some of these areas. So I'm expecting a lot more downside here for CHF JPY. And the thing about the yen pairs as well is that when they do sell, they do give you really nice moves. They don't always give you some good pullbacks though. So that's one thing to note, because normally there's a lot of momentum in the market, but they do give you some powerful, heavy hitting moves, which they haven't really given us yet. It's been very corrective. So I do expect to see some big sales in the next few weeks, really. And if you can catch one of them, it should be nice to watch. But yeah, at the moment, still testing support. So again, if I'm going to find a trade here with Swiss yen, I need price to break through, then I can be looking for pullbacks and continuations. But at the moment, nothing of that nature just yet. And in terms of the lovely yen basket, again, kind of correctly break to the upside. This one hasn't been moving too well, but clearing resistance pretty well. And I'm looking for a push back to 7,200 and more so a push above this wick high there as well. So I'm pretty bullish here for the yen basket. And again, if the yen basket's pushed to the upside, it means yen is strong, which means the yen pairs are likely to fall. I said I'm looking at two scenarios here for the yen basket, either break and retest for this level, which looks like we're getting right now. So I have to keep an eye on something like that. Or we get a slightly bigger pullback, retest the trend line, see a fourth higher low, 1, 2, 3, and possibly a 4th, and maybe from there we take off to the upside. At the moment, this looks like the more realistic opportunity. I'll still keep an eye out for something like that, but I kind of want to see a bigger correction before continuing, because that bigger correction will allow me to take those moves that I've just been talking about on Aussie yen, for example. If we can get a bigger correction to the downside for the yen basket, that'll give me this correction there for Aussie yen. That'll give me the correction I want to see for New Zealand yen as well, something like this. That'll give me the correction I want to see for CAD yen as well, something like that. And of course, dollar yen as well, something like that to the upside. So I want to see the yen basket come down so I can catch some buys, and well, not buys on the yen basket, but sells on the other yen pairs, and keep shorting. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. Still very, very bearish. Aussie yen, New Zealand have picked up the pace, so my focus has definitely shifted towards those. If you can get some decent pullbacks, could catch some nice sells as early as next week potentially. Where was I? Himanshu, can Euro USD retrace towards the upside now? Okay, I'll take a look at Euro for you. Anthony, good morning. Hope you're well. Thoughts on NAS and S&P for next week? Okay, we'll have a look see as well. No problem. What's up, Ham? Welcome to the stream. Gold, is it buy trend? Are you looking to buy gold? I'll go take a look in a second. I don't think gold's positioned well for a buy right now. I mean, again, it depends how much you're looking for. If you're looking for, a move for an hour or a move for potentially a day, that kind of is important as well. But I'll share my thoughts in a second. Let me just go through Euro USD. I'm going to go through some of the monthly kind of closures, because I'm interested to see how we're looking on the USD pairs and the yen pairs in particular, and maybe some of the CHF pairs too. But yeah, Euro USD, you asked, can we retrace to the upside? Of course we can. We can retrace to the upside, we can retrace to the downside. Again, in terms of the exact moves of a market, we're not fortune tellers here. We're not going to be able to predict the exact swings and the exact moves on the market here, at least on a consistent basis. All we're looking to do is find opportunities, find trades where we know that the probabilities are in our favor. If we take a buy here, the likelihood is that we're going to see price push up. If we take a sell here, the likelihood is price is going to go down. In terms of the refined small movements of the market, you'd be wasting your time if you can try and predict every single one of those moves. Way too stressful, and again, not necessary. But can we retrace the upside? Yes, we can. How long for? That's really the question you want to know the answer for, because you might retrace for a couple candlesticks and keep falling, or you might retrace for the rest of the day potentially. I mean, not really at an area which I would look to buy from, because we've just broken support there on the left, so I wouldn't really be looking to take a buy unless we're above that level. We could retrace potentially to retest some of these areas before heading down. I think that would be a nice place to short intraday. Really strong support. Price broke with a lot of momentum. This would look like a really nice place to short from and expect a continuation. So something like that, possibly on the 30-minute chart, might be a nice opportunity. The buys right now, yes, we could probably expect some retracement, but again, it might not be something like that. It might be something like this, just for us to keep falling as well. There's no kind of plan there or area of confidence we're buying from, or strong level of support really. So I would be very careful about taking buys there. I think looking to follow that momentum, sells look good. Or for my sake, on the 4-hour chart, I'm looking at some buys down here. Yeah, that's the best I can get there for Euro. In terms of the minor fluctuation of the market, you don't want to be looking to spend too much time trying to predict that, because you'd be there forever. Anthony, we'll go through S&P and NAS. We'll take a look at gold shortly afterwards. And then we can take a look at some of the monthly candle closures. So US 500, the indices have been very bearish since we last spoke. Of course, looks like a lot of these markets are down. Gold, silver, commodities down, we've got the metals down, we've got crypto down. So it's not a good time in the markets for bulls right now. And looks like we've broken through support here as well, which is quite pivotal because I was expecting price to bounce from that and continue. But now we're breaking through that. It looks like price is probably going to push back to this level now. So it depends what you're looking at, Anthony, in terms of your horizon. If you're looking at something a bit more kind of over the next couple days, if that really might even be sooner, I think something like this could look really good. Maybe some entries on the hourly chart, riding it back to the low. I think this is still a nice place for a buy, but again, being pretty careful because it looks like we're coming to a climate right now in terms of the markets in general where we might be seeing some counter trends on Bitcoin, on the cryptos, on the indices and commodities as well. So we might be seeing a bit of a bearish couple of weeks potentially. Again, that's just me thinking out loud, but being careful of that. I think in terms of shorts, though, S&P does look really nice. Strong break of support. We did it with a really big candle there as well. So if I drop to the hourly chart, something like this next week, I would say is a really nice play. That could take a couple of days to play out, and that could be a nice trade for the week. And possibly you might be talking about some buys maybe towards the end of the week. So I would keep an eye on that. But I think this is a nice trade. There's a lot of momentum right now. We haven't come back to retest support. If we were to do that, I would expect more downside from that as well. So pretty bearish here for S&P, at least back to 5,800, and then we'll see what happens. Because if we break through this low, then I'm expecting a counter trend to fall. Because for me, that is a strong daily low. This is kind of like a last major swing low in the daily chart. So if price was to break through that, then I'm expecting something like this to happen, which means at least a week or two of bearishness there for the S&P, most likely. So this is a very, very strong support. If that breaks, I think even shorts from a daily perspective look good, which is pretty significant for S&P. But for now, intraday, intra-week, sales look good there. Sales look good there. And for the NAS, NAS right back at the lows here. I think this is a nice place for a buy, to be honest. Again, I'll keep it short and sweet just because of the climate in right now. But I do like the buys here for NAS because this is right at the low. Because if price breaks through this low, then I'm expecting, again, from a daily perspective, a correction and a continuation if we break through that support. But I like the buy here because we're right at the low. This is where you can get a nice stop loss, relatively tight. And if price is going to push the upside, you're primed up in a really nice position for a buy, even possibly for something like this. Although I would expect the bearish leg to be a bit smoother. This was a pretty big drop. But I think it's a nice push, at least back into this area, back to some intraday levels. Possibly might go further, so I would probably leave positions to run just in case we do. You never know. It's still very much a bullish market in general, so leaving positions to continue, I think, is a smart move here. But I think taking some profit around 21,000 makes a lot of sense as well. But it's still a great place for a buy. Really strong support. Big reaction last time we were here. Already seen some reactions down the 4-hour chart. It does look like we could push to the upside there. So it's still pretty bullish on the S&P. Not SP, sorry, for NAS. But if it was a suddenly breakthrough, yeah, I'll watch out for that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the indices. I'll go through gold next. Hey, what's up? Follow the trend. Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. Right back at you. Hope you're well. Pound ends the sell that I wanted. The rocket took off to the moon and left me in the dust at the 2.245 level. Okay, I'll have a look at pound ends D for you there as well. First, let me go take a look at gold. So gold, you mentioned you're looking for a buy. So yeah, for gold at the moment, I'll be very skeptical of buys right now because it looks like price is trying to break through support here on the left. And this is the support level I said that if price does break, I would actually be pretty bearish on gold. Again, at least for a bit of a correction, not in general, expecting price to head back towards the highs pretty soon. And if I whip out a Fibonacci from this swing low to that high, let's make sure we can see it. We've got the 50% there. So even a push back down to 27.60 for me is still a relatively healthy correction for gold, especially with a move like this. Very, very forceful. So a break of that support just kind of signals to me that, okay, gold is probably forming a bit of a counter trend, or we're in retracement mode. And maybe as we approach the high here, we might bounce. But I would wait for support to break and then start to look for opportunities on the back of that. So no, I'm not really looking to buy gold right now. We failed to break the highs. Again, as I was saying the past couple of days, if gold did break out resistance here, then I would be happy with the buys, because now I can see, okay, the trend is healthy again. Market's still breaking to the upside. We're still creating higher highs, and we're seeing force. So that's really what I wanted to see for the buys. Of course, we haven't seen that just yet. So I'm favoring more downside, but I still want to see a slightly bigger break through support before shorting. So that is where I'm at with gold at the moment. We'll go through pound NZD next. What is up, LFTJ? Enter the buy and dollar CHF. Now I feel the dollar is strong. Okay, TP 0.9395, but we'll try when it touches the uptrend line. Upper line of the overall downtrend. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about, but we'll go take a look at that as well. Alfonso, what's up? Looking at GU entry. Okay, we'll go through that as well. Tony Gold, have a missed Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar yet by chance? I will go through them. I'll go through them for you, Tony Gold. No problem, Anthony. Happy to help. Okay, so let me go through pound NZ. Yeah, pound NZ has been very bullish. I had a look at the crosses just before the stream, and yeah, they're absolutely flying. I think on Wednesday I talked about a break and retest. Yeah, break and retest of this level. No sign of a retest at all. Price is just absolutely flying to the upside right now. So yeah, pound NZ is very bullish. I don't think there's a lot to do right now. There's not a lot to do. I wouldn't be looking to sell. I mean, I'm expecting a retracement soon, but again, the trend is still very bullish. So taking shorts right now always going to be a little bit difficult. Not impossible, but just difficult because momentum is not in your favor right now. I think this is actually still a nice place for a buy. Should price have a large correction, I think it's just still a really nice place for a buy. If I whip out the old fib from the low here to the high, of course, that high hasn't formed yet, but let's say if it's here, more or less coming back into the 50 of that correction. And because it's such a strong move, there's a good chance we do continue to the upside. So pound NZD is comfortably bullish right now. Of course, we're taking out some major highs, so perhaps some retracement's going to happen in the next couple of days. But as you expect for any market. So yeah, still relatively bullish here for pound NZD. I like the longs here, really strong level, which we broke through, and no retest as well. So should we get back down there, there's a good chance we do bounce and a good chance we do see some continuation. So still pretty bullish there for pound NZD. In terms of dollar CHF, I think I know where you're referring to in terms of the trend line. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe probably something like that you're looking at. Targets at 0.91395. 91395. Okay, maybe not. 395. Okay, so target's pretty much back at the high there. Okay, so you would trail when it touches the upper, the trend line there. Okay, so your targets are up there, but if it touches this area, you'll look to start to trail just in case we do something like that. I get you. I get you. So yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty bearish on dollar CHF because of where we're trading in the higher time frames. Major resistance on our left here, and I'm still do have a pretty bearish bias on the DXY. Although I do expect to see retracement for maybe the next couple of days, which looks like you're taking advantage of that. I am still looking for that bullish momentum to eventually die out and kick in bearish again. So that's kind of my outlook there on the dollar, but we can go through that in a minute. But yeah, I think it's a nice buy because I was actually looking for a much bigger break of this level than what we got. I said I wanted to see a very strong break of this level before I do start to look for some pullbacks. Never really got that. Price did break through, but not a great distance and a great momentum as well. I always talk about if you've got a range in the market and you want to see a break of that range, I kind of want to see price at least break out with at least 50% of the range. So let's say this is roughly 50%. I want to see price at least clear that distance to the upside before I say, okay, this is most likely a breakout. So if we do pull back, I'm interested in the longs. Didn't really see that happen there with dollar CHF. It was very minimal. And looks like we're comfortably back in the range. So yeah, upside looks likely. Dollar looks like it's still got upside in the tank as well. I'll quickly take a look at that now. Dollar breaking out of this correction here. It does look like we probably will see some more upside. So I'm personally looking at a bit more upside for the dollar into the 108.2, 108.4 area before looking for some shorts. I'm still looking at these major lower highs, 1, 2, and possibly 3. That's still very much my outlook there for the dollar. But again, maybe for the next couple of days, we continue to push on, which should help dollar CHF to the upside there as well. So I do like that opportunity. Afonso, pound USD, you got a trade there. Let's have a look, see. Pound USD, you got a entry at 1.2629. 1.26. Okay, so you're on the lower time frames. So somewhere around there. Take profit 1.2530. Did I read that correctly? Yeah, 253. So around there-ish, basically where I'm looking to take a buy. And stop loss 1.2663. So just around there. Looking good. Momentum's in your favor there. Price has broken out some structure as well. Have you gone to break even, or you just your stop loss back at well, I'd imagine your stop loss is still where you had it initially, and I probably wouldn't go to break even anyway. It's a little bit too early. Price could still retrace and continue down. But yeah, I like it. I mean, you're looking to take advantage of the retracement. We've broken out that channel there pretty well. So if price is going to stay below that, I would expect to see a lot more downside. I'm personally looking at that as retracement for a buy later onwards. So I'm actually hoping, for your sake in mind, that we do see the move down, because I'm looking to take the buy a lot further down. And yeah, it's been a solid breakout of that channel, and price has given us characteristics that it does look very, very tired and most likely will get ready for retracement. And like I said, looking at the dollar as well, looks like the dollar's still got a bit more upside to it too. So if the DXY is still likely to push up, that should help pound USD moving to the downside to go and hit your targets as well. I'm still pretty bullish on pound USD, so I'm only looking to buy, hence why that's where I've circled. But more or less your target is where I'm looking to enter. So kind of like passing the baton over. So let's see if we can get that move. I'm hoping so I can take some buys, but I think we can do. Dollar looks like it's still got more upside. So pound USD, euro, Aussie looks like they can still keep falling. Okay, so I'll go through. We'll go through Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar for Tony Gold. Euro Aussie, okay, we'll have a look see as well. Can you stop hitting the mic? I hope my BT friend's okay. Sawdust. Yeah, I think it's just it's not crypto season right now. But again, when it's not crypto season, that's where there's opportunity. When people are scared, that's when it's best time to buy. Although I wouldn't buy it yet though. So yeah, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. So I've been pretty bullish on both of these. However, we've seen some very, very aggressive bearish moves. So I'm actually backing away a little bit, because for Aussie dollar's sake, I was looking for the buy on the retest of this range here for some upside. And now we've completely broken through that. I was talking about some buys yesterday if we could break outside of this counter trend line. So I was focused on the top of the range there. I said if you can reject this, get a strong break, strong close to the upside, that could be a nice entry signal for Aussie dollar. However, we didn't see that, and price stayed bearish and it kept falling. It looks like it's just taking out some lows here as well. So with Aussie dollar, although I am still pretty bearish on USD and kind of still expecting this to happen, I don't have a confluence which I once had there with Aussie dollar. So in terms of the setup has definitely disappeared here for Aussie dollar, for my sake anyway, at least in the 4-hour chart. Looking at the higher time frames, I wouldn't be too surprised if we were to come back and test support again before potentially bouncing, especially if USD still does have some strength to it as well. That may very well happen. So Aussie dollar, I am still bullish, looking for a bounce at these areas. However, the structure, the confluence I was looking to buy from at the start of the week is no longer present. Price is broken through, so I'm being very, very careful about jumping into buys, especially now when I don't really have the confluence I once had, and especially for New Zealand dollar, which we broke through this structure I think on Wednesday. So since we broke through that, I've been backing away from New Zealand dollar because I was looking for another higher low here for a push up. Again, didn't really see that happen. Similar situation to Aussie dollar in terms of respecting that trend line pretty well. Looking for a big shift of momentum. Never really had that. Had a bit of a wick to the upside there on that bullish candle. And that has since seen a really big move to the downside. We haven't quite broken through those lows yet, so we could still bounce here, but it's not looking too good. Really, really heavy momentum, especially when I'm looking for retracements for price to continue going higher. I want to see a much more corrective pullback. In fairness, we did start pretty corrective, which was great, but we picked up the pace really heavily. So I'm being very cautious about buying New Zealand dollar right now and Aussie dollar. And again, a big part about trading is being able to stay flexible and be able to stay reactive. Things might look really, really good. Then potentially in the space of 24 hours or even less than 24 hours, things don't look quite good as they once did. And that's the reality here with Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar. I still do like dollar CAD to the downside, so I'm still keeping a very close eye on this currency pair for some shorts. Even though the pullback's really corrective, I still do have a nice level which I'm looking to short from. And if things slow down, become a bit more corrective, and I see some entries, I'll look to jump in. And I also like pound USD to the upside as well. So those are the USD pairs which I'll be focusing on a lot more. Aussie and New Zealand dollar ain't really giving me what I want to see right now. Again, they still very much may move to the upside, but just not with me looking to trade it right now. Unless things change quickly, because again, like I said, things change quickly in 24 hours. It was looking good, not looking good now. Maybe another 24 hours, or in this case, maybe next week, Tuesday or something, things might be looking good. But right now, not a big fan. Not a big fan. Anyway, I'll go take a look at... okay, I'll go through Euro Aussie for LFTJ. Then I'll go take a look at some monthly and weekly candle closures because we're getting both of that today. We're getting the weekly candle closure, of course, for this week, but also the month of Feb is closing. So I want to see how we're looking across the board, across the yen, USD, and CHF as well. I'm still holding my Aussie CHF position from a couple of weeks back as well. Don't think I'll be able to get into any other CHF pairs because they've been flying or falling, I should say. But I'll quickly go through Euro Aussie. Okay, so you're looking to buy. Okay, so you're looking to sell it back down and buy from 1.25. Okay, pretty much what I'm looking at. No problem. Follow the trend. Happy to help. Season's great for you watching. Let's make that like button bullish. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. What's up, Julius? Hope you're well. So yeah, if you are enjoying the stream, find it useful, please be sure to drop a like. It does really help out, and do really appreciate all the love you guys do show on the streams. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content, want to see more of it, and of course hit the bell so you really don't miss out on it, because you will be notified, of course. But yeah, make sure you do hit the like button if you're enjoying the stream. Let's quickly go through Euro Aussie. So this one should be looking pretty bullish, and it is really big move to the upside. So looks like this one is moving back into resistance right now. We had the low of the range. Looks like price just manipulated that twice, once and the second time there. Did catch me out over there. And now price is absolutely breaking to the upside. So looks like we're going to push back to 1.68 now. What's the next move? I'm not too sure. We need to break through resistance here, because if I drag this across, this is a pretty big level on our left here. So if price can break through this, then I would expect us to make our way back to this area. So something like this, strong break to the upside, a bit of a correction somewhere, and then a continuation. Because overall, this is pretty much a consolidation. So that would be classed as a breakout, and the next big level would be this one over there. So yeah, Euro Aussie looking very bullish right now, but we're just charging into resistance. So let's see if it respects or see if it breaks through. If it does break through, we're looking at 1.69, 1.7. We can just round up there, big psychological level. So yeah, that's kind of really what I'm looking at Euro Aussie. Extremely bullish right now, but looks like we're about to break resistance. Okay, so Yusuf, what's up? Hope you're well. I was about to ask a question earlier on, but I got a call about a class at the rush. Okay, no problem, no problem. Like a tip of how to catch swing trade to hold like you're doing for almost a month. Um, Good question. Well, you just have to have longer term targets, long term views of the market. Spend a lot of time analyzing the daily chart and weekly as well. And that does help out. But again, when you're looking to hold trades longer, your focus should be on the analysis and on where market's likely to go. Not necessarily about profits or banking profits right now, because if that's your focus, it doesn't make sense. You want to profit right now, but you want to hold for a few weeks or a couple of weeks or a few days even. It'll be you'll be clashing with yourself, closing trades early. So you've got to have a slightly longer term view of the market and make sure you're taking entries on. You don't want to be dropping to the 5 minute chart, but you're looking for like a daily or weekly swing. Doesn't really make sense. I know in terms of maximizing your risk to reward, it makes sense. Let me enter the 5 minute chart and potentially hold this for 3 weeks. Realistically, it's not really a healthy way to trade there. You're gonna have like a 10 pip stop loss with like a 300 pip target. I'm sure if it hits the target, it's a big payday, but you're doing too much there. Like for Aussie CHF, I entered on the 4 hour chart. My stop loss was 52 pips. My targets is about 150 there. So it's in relation. But a lot of my analysis is done on like the daily chart, weekly chart. So I know the overall trend. So I'm very much being patient for that trend to continue. My focus is on the analysis there, not necessarily on the profit and the loss and the fluctuation of the current trade. Because if you do that as well, even on the lower time frames, you close trades too early. But again, it's the same situation. You can trade in the 5 minute chart, you can trade in the 4 hour chart, you can trade in the weekly chart. It's the same thing. Of course, the timing's different, but you get used to that. There's no magic kind of tip or trick I can give you apart from just becoming used to it, gaining experience and becoming comfortable with it. That's the only real tip I can give you. Please watch your take on dollar CHF. I was looking for a sell, but my levels have been violated. Okay, I will go through dollar CHF for you. So with dollar CHF, I suppose this is probably a level that has been violated. This 0.89731 level. Let me know if that was the level that got violated. All right, no problem, Julius. No problem, man. Happy to help. So yeah, with dollar CHF, I'm still looking at shorts. I suppose you're looking to short as well, Yusuf. Let me know if I'm mistaken. But I'm looking for downside as well. I'm looking to see what we can do at this area because I was originally looking at that same level, this level here, but we never had the bigger breakout. We never had a breakout big enough, which I wanted to short from. Because when we do breakthrough support like this, especially where we've been ranging for a while, I want to see a confident breakout. Price really push away, really show to me that, okay, this is in the dust. We're likely going to continue melting. We didn't really see that. Yes, we had a okay size candle there, but we didn't clear it by much distance relative to what the level is. This is the swings we've been seeing from this level here. So I want to see price kind of give me something not necessarily as big as that, like I mentioned earlier. At least 50% of the range is always a nice kind of ballpark to pinpoint. So let's say if that's 50%, very rough 50, but let's say it is. I kind of want to see price. Again, doesn't have to be bang on the money, but more or less somewhere around here. If price is around there, okay, that's a meaningful breakout, especially if you had some powerful candles break into the downside. Now I know that pullbacks into that level have a good chance of respecting and falling through. Breakouts like this are more prone to fake outs and something you want to avoid. But since we are breaking to the upside, I'm now more focused on the trend line here. First test, second test, and potentially third test. There's a nice high over there as well, which we're coming back to test as well. Should we see some really nice rejection, I think that's a great place to short, and a swing back to the lows look good. And we can go a lot further as well. We know that on the weekly chart, where we're trading massive weekly level resistance, if price is going to sell off, this is a good place for us to sell from. So we've got that higher time frame backing as well. So if you're looking to push trade further, this is a trade which can go further. Of course, if we were to break through this as well and break to the upside, then I would stay away from dollar CHF. At that point, we're just kind of forming a bigger range there. But at the moment, 0.904, 0.905, I'll call it. Looks like a really nice area to keep a close eye on. Again, probably for early next week. See what we can get there, and then some shorts back into the low make a load of sense. And it kind of looks similar to what I'm seeing on the DXY as well. Lovely lower highs there for DXY, 1, 2, looking for a third one. This one doesn't really have a trend line that lines up as well as dollar CHF, but doesn't have to be the exact same thing. It looks like dollar is doing something similar, so there's a good chance USD CHF will do as well. We just need to make sure we do form that lower high and we don't start breaking through. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for dollar CHF, 0.900. So your level was here somewhere. 0.90, yeah, around that low. Yeah, again, you're going to have different areas which you're going to mark up in the chart. Not every level is going to hold, which is why we look for confirmations, we look for rejection, we look for wicks, candlestick patterns, and we don't just jump straight in because we don't know. Price may respect the level, it may not. So if you're not seeing sufficient rejection, that's your tip, that's your clue to stay away. If price gets into an area of confluence and rejects it very heavily, a lot of wicks, then that's a sign, okay, price is probably going to respect this level. Let me jump into a position. And of course, as you gain experience, you're able to spot those opportunities a lot better. But like I said, I was looking to see if price can respect this area. It didn't. It broke through. Now I'm going to see what we can do here. And yeah, that could be a nice opportunity maybe for next week. Anyway, I'm going to start to go look through some of the monthly candle closures because I'm interested to see how we're looking. Weekly and monthly candle closures, especially on the yen pairs and USD pairs, but I'll go through some of the CHF pairs as well. So let me start with the dollar, because of course that's the big boy. So dollar CHF, okay, not dollar CHF, sorry, DXY. So this one still is respecting. Let me just get rid of my drawings. I can always add them back. This one is respecting support right now. So that is an interesting monthly candle close. If we were closing below that, that would be a very strong bearish signal. Us leaving a bit of a wick to the downside is showing that the monthly is still respecting this area, which is more of a bullish confluence than a bearish one, and possibly could kickstart an upside move for early next week. So that's going to be very pivotal, because if price is going to hold support here and possibly continue to the upside, which could be the case, then it's going to be very, very important to see what we do at this area here on the 4-hour chart. Because if price just rockets straight through this, then yeah, that's probably the move at play. If we slow down, become corrective, then maybe we're going to go and attack the support again. So it's going to be very, very important to see what we do at that area next week. And that will make or break my bearish bias with the dollar. But the fact that we're holding on to support is more of a bullish sign than anything. We still close bearish, so it's not necessarily that we're going to I'm expecting price to fly, but we still do have support below us, which is a key thing to note. We're going to take a look at Euro USD. Again, I can always add the drawings back again. So Euro USD, again, we do have resistance still above us, not breaking above that, but looking to the left, we still do have this area here, which again, price is kind of being a bit awkward. It looks like it's trying to hold, but not doing a good job, still firing a lot of wicks to the upside. The last month's candle for Jan, we closed as a doji. This one is just slightly bullish. Again, not a lot of information here. Sometimes you look at the monthly candle and it'll give you a lot of information in terms of what you can expect, possibly the following month. Like, for example, when we had this month's candle in October last year, you can see a lot of resistance on the left. We got another bearish engulfing candle. That's a good sign that says, okay, maybe next month we're going to be bearish as well. Again, I wouldn't rely just on the monthly candle close, but that's a good sign that says, okay, next month could be bearish. And it was bearish. Here, though, doesn't give me a lot of information apart from we're still just about holding support. If March closes very bullish, let's say like this, nice bullish engulfing candle, hypothetically, let's say we close like that, then okay. If we get that in March, then April, May, I forgot what the next month was, April, May, we could be seeing continuations. Again, doesn't necessarily mean that we'll close bullish, but I would expect at some point during the following months to see upside. So if that would happen next month, that'll be a lot of information. If I go take a look at pound USD. Okay, this one's a lot better because we got support here, which price is respecting pretty well. There's still some resistance just above us over here. I would expect to see a push towards that area. We may go sell off later on, but since we had a big, didn't mean to do that. Since we had a big rejection of support here and price held that, especially with last month's candle, big wick, and now closing bullish, it does look like we probably will push the upside now, at least back into that resistance there. Again, we may sell off, but I think there's a good chance we'll see some upside there in March. So I can take a lot away from there from pound. Dollar CAD, looking at this one on the monthly chart. Again, this one, the biggest takeaway is where we're trading. Really, the price action is not giving us too much. You can see the prior months we've only been getting wicks. Now we're getting body candle closures. So a bit of red flag there means that we're gaining territory right now, but we haven't broken through. So this is still resistance. So naturally, I'm still expecting more downside. But again, only a slight bearish candle with a wick to the downside. So nothing too crazy there from dollar CAD, apart from we're trading at a really big level. Aussie dollar, let's see how we're closing on the month. Again, not a lot to take from this at all, apart from we're still at support, really, because again, big wick to the upside. This at one point was looking like a kind of like a morning star pattern, but now we've pulled all the way back there. So again, not a lot of confluence. We very much could go fill the wick there for March and see a strong push. So I'm not saying this is a bearish signal. I'm just saying it doesn't really give me a lot of information apart from almost the doji, really. So we could fill the wick, we could sell off. Not a lot of information to take there from Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar likewise as well. Kind of expecting that to be similar. Again, just giving us a bit of a doji there. We had a really big drop there in December and Jan and Feb, just two small kind of doji candles. So again, not a lot of information to take apart from we're holding support. That's the only thing to take away, which could change very quickly next month with a strong bearish candle, or maybe we push bullish. So not a lot of information to take there, really, from New Zealand dollar. Gold, how we're looking in the month. Just a bit of a wick. So again, this shows to us that the market is still very, very bullish. Again, we're kind of losing our minds a little bit with the wick there. Of course, on the intraday level, looks like things are really bearish, but it just looks like price probably will have a bit of a pullback again next month, but probably push back up again. So still really bullish there with gold, but perhaps we do get a bit of a pullback. And silver, okay, silver is definitely something to note, which is we're not breaking through resistance here. In fact, we've been failing to do that for quite some time. So it looks like silver is probably going to have a pretty big move to the downside next month. Well, I'm not too sure about pretty big, but I think there's a good chance we do see some downside here for silver. Reason being, look at all the wicks here on the monthly chart. That's a horrible arrow. Let me do that with this. Look at all the wicks there on the monthly chart. 1, 2, 3, 4. This candle as well. Big wick to the upside. Failed to break through. Another wick there as well. And what we get in Feb, another big wick to the upside. So this is clearly price trying to break through this level. But by the end of the month, for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the past 10 months, prices failed to break through this price here at 32. So the odds of us seeing a push to the downside for March, I would argue, is pretty high. So yeah, silver not looking good for buys at all. And from a swing bias, I'll actually be looking to short silver, at least back to the next support level, which would be here. And again, that is shown on the weekly chart as well. Because if you look at the weekly here, this is our resistance level, price is holding. This is a bit of a fake out we had not long ago. And now you can see price is back respecting that with a really nice bearish engulfing candle there. So the odds of silver now pushing back into support here are pretty high. And the odds of us suddenly pushing to the upside, I would say, are pretty low. Of course, anything can happen, which is why we manage risk and use stop losses. But yeah, silver in my book is likely going to have a sell. So although I've been pretty bullish on silver, I actually wouldn't mind taking some sells now. Like I said earlier in the stream, we did have this counter trend line. If price can make a solid break of that, I do like the opportunity for some retests and trying to short it back into the low. I think that's a nice little trade to look for. Back into 29 there. So silver looking pretty bearish. In terms of the yen pairs, let me have a quick look at them. Okay, so dollar yen closing pretty bearish, but back into support, so I can't take away too much of from that as well. We could break support there pretty well, but we could bounce too. So again, when candlesticks close into a level of support and resistance, there's not a lot you can take from that, because the falling candle could be very, very bearish in terms of respecting the level, or very bullish breaking through. But we are holding support. If we were closing below, however, that would be a nice sign that says, okay, next month you probably see a continuation of that. Pound yen, not a lot to take from pound yen, actually. Well, yeah, definitely not a lot to take from pound yen, but I like the fact that we have respected resistance very well there. Again, still looking for this wick to fill. So I do think a push to downside still looks pretty likely here. But of course, just a doji, really. Euro yen. Again, Euro yen's a similar situation, but we got that head and shoulder pattern there. So you got your left, you got your head, you got your right shoulder. There's your neckline, which again, we're looking for a price to snap through. So similar situation again with Euro yen, but again, the monthly candles are not giving us a lot of information. I like the structure of the candlesticks though. CAD yen likewise as well. As you can see, a lovely level of resistance here on the left, which is price is doing a really good job at holding. So it was resistance over here, over there. Big fake out of the level, back resistance again. So the odds of us having a pretty big drop look pretty high, and probably could see a push all the way down there. So that's why longer term, I do expect a lot of downside on these yen pairs, because on the monthly chart, we are seeing bearish characteristics, and look where we're trading as well. This is CAD yen. We had a major high there, big push, major high there, big push. We're in that area where, again, another major high could be forming for another big push. So we're just in areas where it makes sense to see a big sell, and now we're seeing market structure here as well shaping up in that way. So I would expect a lot of downside, and there's your support. Again, that's a long-term view, but especially when you're looking for bigger swing trades, it's always good to have that long-term view. It could take 3, 4, 5, 6 months for us to get there. And of course, I'm not going to be looking to hold trades all that way, but I know that if I do take a short, I can be a bit more aggressive with my targets, because I do expect to see a lot of downside. I've been talking a lot about the wick here, but I expect price to go a lot further than that. But this is still a great target to have. And you know that, okay, if I'm going to target this, but I know that the higher time frames could be going there, there's a good chance that that's going to happen. And I can always leave positions to run as well if I'm trying to be a bit greedy. But yeah, CAD yen looking very bearish. Also, I do like the monthly candle closure as well. It's not great because this wick isn't necessarily like piercing through this level of resistance. It would be very nice if this wick was through that resistance, but still, the monthly candle did start off pretty bullish. Now we pull back and close bearish. So again, for March, I do think we'll probably drop and get the push into the low. CHF JPY, looking at this This one, again, not a lot to take from here, apart from it does look like support's breaking, because we've been holding support there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Price was holding support. This is the first time we're closing below. So again, that's shaping up for potentially another sell as well. I do think that's probably going to happen for March too. So it's looking like a bearish March here for the yen pairs. Should come back and revisit and see how everything shaped up. And looking at Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. Again, these guys are looking pretty bearish too. I like the wick to the upside. So again, I do see the wick here being taken out. If I go to New Zealand yen as well, yeah, that's looking pretty bearish too. I mean, I think we'll probably will take out the wick there next month. And at least if we do see some upside, the odds of us pushing down are pretty high. So yeah, it's looking pretty bearish here for the yen. BTC, okay, I'll take a look at that one. I'll see how that one looks in the month as well. Yeah, I think I had a look earlier, but we'll have a look. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. LFTJ, if you were to swing G, where would you likely target to get entry? LNNYX, yeah, I will take a look at dollar yen for you. So I don't know how to pronounce that. But yeah, for pound USD, in terms of looking to buy this one, I do have a nice little setup for us on the 4 hour, which is looking at the high lows here. I'm looking for a setup in this area around 1.25, because it's proven to be a sturdy level of support. If we look to the left here, as we can see, once, twice over there, resistance once, twice as well. And we've got a lovely trend line running through that market. And we've got, of course, the successive higher lows. 1, 2, 3, and now expecting a fourth. So I'm expecting to see a bounce there for pound, and 1.25 would be my entry for a swing trade, which at least for a swing back to the high makes a load of sense. But there is room, as we've gathered from the higher time frames, for us to push a lot higher. 1.279, I think looks like a likely target as well for pound. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish here for pound USD. In terms of entries, 1.25 looks great. We'll see how price gets there, how we react. But if everything's good, I would definitely be looking to buy there for pound. And as I've been mentioning, dollar looks like a really nice sell as well from this area. So if the dollar can retrace into 108, 108.2, that probably will give us the opportunity on pound to 1.25. And we can see probably some nice shorts on the dollar and also some nice longs on pound at the same time. Now, of course, give us a really nice move to the upside. If pound was to break through this area, then I'll back away. Not that we can't still push up, but my confidence is lost. No trade for me anymore. I will go through USD JPY next. I'll take a look at BTC as well. Now go through some CHF pairs. So yeah, with dollar yen, I'm still looking at a big sell for this one. There's two setups I'm looking at. One's a little bit safer than the other. We've got this swing low, which I'm expecting price to break through, but at the moment we're still respecting. So the first opportunity would be just the price coming back to retest some areas here for another lower high with the trend line, then looking for a big drop. I'm pretty bearish across the board for the yen pairs, and still looking at a lot more downside. A slightly safe opportunity would be waiting for price to break through support first, and then looking for some pullbacks, because at least you've got the resistance now to your backs, and you can look to base trades from that as well. Expecting a pretty big swing. My targets for dollar yen long term are back to support here at 140, and I expect yen to be very, very strong in the next few weeks, couple of months. So these are two opportunities I'm looking at. We've got the consistent trend line, which has rejected price very well. I'm looking at to maintain, and see either we catch the lower high on another retest here, which is not too far away. That might set up during next week at some point, or price perhaps break through, and then we look for the retest of that zone and plot some trades from that area. But only looking to sell dollar yen for now. That is definitely my bias. No problem. Happy to help, my man. Happy to help. Okay, so I'll go through the CHF pairs. Like I said, I'm currently short on Aussie CHF. Not too far away from my targets, actually. We have seen some upside just above where I'm looking to take some profits. I'm actually going to leave some positions to run back to the low here. So I'm actually looking at a really big move for CHF. Most of my trades, I do look to target. I do look to trade in the direction of longer term targets. So like I said, with the yen pairs, I'm expecting a lot of downside. If I can trade in that direction, doesn't mean I'll look to hold onto the full position all the way to those long term targets, but it gives me a lot more confidence with my trades. And if I do want to stretch trade a little bit further, I've got the possibility to do that. And with Aussie CHF here, I'll take most of my profits at the low. I will leave a good 20% to run, see if I can target the lows there. But for now, still looking for a bit more downside there for Aussie CHF. Let me have a look at the higher time frames. So Aussie CHF's a bit awkward because there is really big support on the left. I say big support, but it's a decent support level. It's not crazy like that there, but it's still a meaningful level of support. We've yet to see a monthly candle close since August 2023. Price formed the support, and we're yet to see price close below. So it's definitely a level to be skeptical of. We could very much bounce here still. So that's kind of my worry with my trade, is that price could still bounce at that support and turn against me. So if I do see some really strong rejection, I might just call the trade early and close the trade early and not hold to the targets, because this is definitely support. And I'm not going to be ignorant to the fact that price is rejecting that, especially when I'm not too far away from my targets as well. It's not like I've just hopped into the trade. Price was only a few pips away from my target, so no point to risk all of that just to catch the extra 20 pips or 15 pips I missed out on. So I may close the trade early. Depends how we close on the day, on the week. So I'll make that decision probably early next week, actually, not today. But yeah, still major support there. It would be nice if this monthly candle closed below. That would be very, very nice, because then the probability of us falling to the low here is very high at that point. On the weekly chart as well, we can have a better look at this support level. I can refine it a little bit so you can see it acted as support very well. Even this move tried to break through, but we came straight back up pretty aggressively. And you can see there again this week, although looking pretty bearish, coming into support. I still do think we can break through, but have to be a bit careful. Looking at some of the other CHF pairs, pound CHF, this has been moving sideways for quite a while. So yeah, very awkward price action here. Just pretty much rain-bound price action. This is the weekly chart. Looks like we're trying to break to the upside, but not really doing a good job at that. Monthly chart, not a lot to get from this, apart from this area is held pretty well. We've got some resistance just above us. Perhaps we might be seeing a push back into that area. But yeah, just range-bound price action. Nothing really great to see there. Again, CHF pairs aren't great. They are quite choppy pairs, but they do give some nice moves from time to time. So you have to be careful when you trade them. It's definitely not a market which you want to be aggressively trading, because it's not a market that moves aggressively. Euro CHF likewise as well, kind of dancing at support right now, looking for a bit of a bounce, but we've just got more consolidation, so not a lot to take from the monthly chart there. New Zealand CHF, this one should look a little bit bearish. Yeah, this one's falling pretty well. This one actually looks a lot better than Aussie CHF, because you've broken through support, and we did it a long time ago. So the odds of us coming back to the wick low are pretty high there. What's the odds of us suddenly just pushing to the upside like that, breaking through resistance, versus just calmly continuing the journey, which we've been doing since literally the beginning of time. Price has been falling forever. So the odds of us continuing to fall are pretty high, I would say. So yeah, New Zealand CHF, more downside, looks very, very likely next month. I like the pin bar as well. Nice wick to the upside, even taking out the prior month's high as well. So I think we probably will see it push the downside there in March. And if New Zealand CHF falls, there's a good chance Aussie CHF falls as well. So that's good for me. And in terms of CAD CHF, if I can spell it, there we go. CAD CHF, yeah, just more consolidation, really. I think one key thing to know is that we're still trading below support here. It's holding a resistance. So perhaps we do break to the downside, but yeah, not a big fan. Not a big fan of CAD CHF until we get a full-on breakout. And that's pretty much it for the CHF pairs, of course. You got USD CHF, which we did refer to earlier, which is at resistance, looking for a sell. Julius, if you permit me to ask, would you like to know what order confidence you use with trendline breakout and retest confirmation making decision? Okay, I'm just going to remove you guys because I have no idea what you're referring to. I think that was spam. Anyway, where was I? Of course, you can always ask a question, by the way. You can always ask a question. Just drop it down in the chart, in the chat. Would like to know what order of confidence do you use with trendline breakouts? Okay, not quite done yet. Trendline breakout and retest confirmation in making a decision. So yeah, I would wait for price to clear the trend line. So for example, like I think silver is a good example to use at that actually, because it's actually a nice breakout opportunity, which looks like it's about to happen. Let me get to the correct broker. So yeah, so with silver, if I drop to the 4 hour, silver, I'm looking at a lot more downside as well for this one. And we've clearly got a trend line which has respected price pretty well. Let me just clean up the chart so you can see it a bit better. So in this case, we've been trending to the upside, seeing high highs and high lows. However, we've hit some levels where I'm expecting price to break to the downside. So I'm kind of waiting for price to clear the lows here. I'm sorry, I'm just keeping one eye on the chat because I need to ban some people. So it looks like price is going to be breaking to the downside. So essentially, I'm just looking for price to give me a meaningful move to the downside here before I do look for any retest. I'm never really looking for a shallow break and retest. I'm always looking for bigger breaks. So if price is going to have a break like this, which is technically a breakout, I want price to at least clear it by, again, it's a rough gauge. There's no kind of magical number here. I want something like this, as big as that. That will tell me that, okay, the breakout is meaningful. It doesn't have to be there specifically, but in and around here, it tells me, okay, the breakout's pretty meaningful. Now I'll be looking for pullbacks and a retest or price support. Possibly might tag the trend line whilst we're at it, but at least of support and resistance. And then I'll be looking a lower high to short it back into the low there at 29. So really, really bearish here for silver. In terms of the order of confidence, I'm just looking for the break of the trend line. And that tells me, okay, we're in bearish mode. And now I'm looking to sell. So that's all I'm looking for. There's not necessarily an order of confluence. It's just I'm looking for confluence to be there. I didn't have to have this, and that. I mean, support and resistance is very important. So every trade I take, there's always support or resistance I'm buying or selling from. But there is no order. It just has to be there. Sometimes the trend line's there, sometimes moving average or fib level or whatever. It just has to be there. I don't think order is too important. Alfonso, quiet day today, maybe. Yeah, potentially. I mean, it is Friday as well. Friday is not always the biggest hitter although we do get NFPs on Friday. But yeah, we haven't really seen too much movement. I think we had a lot of movement yesterday and Wednesday as well, with the yen pairs, with USD pairs as well. Big move there. So maybe price might be a bit stale today. I think we do have some news in the afternoon. If I go and double check quickly. I think we've got some CAD and USD news. Yeah, we've got GDP for CAD and we've got PCE for USD. And that is at 1:30 UK time. So yeah, maybe this afternoon you might pick up. And again, yeah, as you said, last day of the month, potentially you might see a bit of fluctuation as the monthly candles want to get their closures. I mean, myself, I don't really have an opportunity I'm looking at just yet. I mean, I do have a few, but nothing where I'm looking to take an entry right now. Like USD CAD shorts, I really like. Keeping a very close eye on this one. Looking to take this one to the downside from roughly here. So I'm getting I'm getting ready to take some shorts here. Pound USD I like a lot. I'm getting ready to take some longs there. So I've got quite a few opportunities I'm looking at. USD CAD shorts, pound USD longs. I keep an eye on silver shorts now. I really like that one. Aussie yen shorts, New Zealand yen shorts, CAD yen shorts, dollar yen shorts. So a lot of shorts on the yen pairs, but I need a lot of pullbacks for that. They are not trading at any areas for sells just yet. I'm looking for something like this for them, which could take a few days potentially. So there's nothing for me to do just yet with these guys. I think dollar CAD and pound USD is probably at the closest to actually give me a trade. No problem, Julius. Happy to help, or Julius. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like, and it does really help out the stream. I do appreciate everyone who has done so already. And of course, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, all the good stuff. It does really help out. And of course, check out the Elevate Trades Discord channel. Completely free to join. Link in the description below. Find out a lot more information about Elevate Traders. And of course, you can join discussions, chat with other traders, chat with myself there as well. But yeah, in terms of my watch list, a few yen pairs on it, but I need some pullbacks for these guys, which, like I said, could take a few days. Dollar yen's another one which I'm looking at. Pullbacks. Either one of these opportunities looks really good. Again, that could take a few days. And CAD yen as well. I do like CAD yen a lot. Again, another correction for this one, which again might take a few days, but I do like the lower highs prices being printing. And my job is to find and catch the next one. And then, yeah, CHF pairs, not really looking at CHF pairs just yet. I mean, the only other CHF pair I was looking at was New Zealand CHF, but that one's left me in the dust a little bit. The sell was very, very aggressive. I wasn't expecting it to be so aggressive. So, and really, I want to get my entry close to the highs here where I can get a safe stop loss. Right now, this is not where I want to be looking for pullbacks and entries. So I don't see myself getting a trade with New Zealand CHF. So I'm just going to ride my luck with Aussie CHF and see how far we can take that one. Really like the sells here, targets back at the low. Like I said, if things get awkward, I may close the trade a little bit early. We've more or less come into my target. We might have just missed it. But again, I'm not the type of person or type of trader to exclusively leave trades just to stop loss or just the targets, because there will be situations where price gets 85, 90, 95% of your way to your target, and doesn't really make too much sense to give all that profit away just because it hasn't hit your target. You can always close some. You might not close it right at the bottom, but even if you close half, that's better than nothing as well. So if things do look, if we see price reject the level aggressively, I may close the trade. If we start to roll over again this afternoon or early next week, I'll just hold the position. I'll see what we can do maybe at this area, retest for continuation. But yeah, that's the only position I'm in at the moment. I'll keep an eye on the yen pairs, keep an eye on the USD pairs. for some entries, but really it's nothing for me to do. I think USD CAD is my favorite pair right now in terms of getting to a new trade. So that's what I'm going to pay the most attention to. But even this one, I need some development because we had such an aggressive retracement. I'm not prepared to just short that high because we could go further. So I need price to kind of start to consolidate a little bit, buy some wicks, bearish engulfing candles before I do take any trades. Probably could look at a target here or there. It depends how we set up. This is kind of at the low of the previous range. That could be a nice target, 1.43. If things look really good, then I'll hold back to 1.42 or just underneath it anyway. So yeah, that's where I'm already at. I'm at with the USD pairs, and we have a quick look at Bitcoin monthly chart. Okay, so yeah, pretty strong candle this month. Yeah, similar to that move over there. So yeah, Bitcoin's not looking too good. Probably going to see a bit more retracement over the next few days. But again, I just expect it to be retracement. So although things look scary right now, I'm sure in the matter of, actually, I'm not sure, I shouldn't say that. I think there's a good chance that in the matter of a few weeks to a few months, price is already going to be back at the all-time highs. So still very, very bullish on Bitcoin, but I think we're going through some necessary retracement right now. Breaking through some support, great. There might be some nice shorts, so keep an eye on that. But as soon as we come back into these areas, I think that's a great pace for a buy. Again, Bitcoin can have big corrections. Like we saw, the last major correction was a 77% drop. As I said at the start of the stream, a 77% drop would take us back here-ish. So there could still be a lot more downside. To be honest, even 50% takes us to around here. So there could still be a lot more downside for Bitcoin. So not looking to jump the gun too early, but again, a long-term view is still very bullish. And that, guys, does bring us to the end of the analysis. If you have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel as well. And make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams uploaded. That was a horrible starter. Let me do that again. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams uploads in the future. Check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below and also the top of the chat. You can chat with other traders, chat with myself. I share ideas there. You can join discussions and find out more information about Elevating Traders if you are interested. But guys, have a great day. Have a great weekend. I will drop my analysis on Saturday of the next upcoming week and a brief review of this week as well. So if you are interested, need some guidance for next week, or just want to see my opinions, check out that video, which will drop on Saturday. But besides from that, guys, have a great day, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all in the next one.